good on my side.
Cool. Hopefully no one hits me hard enough to spill my coffee.
Oh, that'd be a tragedy.
This is Ben. He's a full-time rancher, a bullfighter in the rodeo, a former U.S. Marine, and most importantly, he's my boss. So if you guys don't like this video, I'm probably getting fired. Anyways, this is our new series, The Unsung Hero, where we take a look at the working man and woman that run America. Enjoy.
Okay guys, so in today's video we are stalking my boss Ben for the day. I'm gonna be asking him a few questions while what are we doing today, Ben?
Well, right now we're putting mineral out for some cows. We're in the midst of grazing season. I wouldn't say that grazing's at its peak right now, but we're not supplementing anymore with hay or corn silage, so they're full-blown grazing right now. Just basically putting mineral out and moving cows around to fresh grass. And at 9 we're going to go load out a truck headed to eastern Kansas with some stockers on it, and we're going to process some incoming calves from the livestock market. That'll about do it for the day. These are our cows and some springborn calves. You see numbers on the side, on their side. Some of them are freeze branded like that one. The difference is a hot brand obviously is heat. Freeze branding is cold. Yeah, so freeze brand will show up as white.
How many cattle are in these two fields we're in right now, roughly?
Oh, about 100 head.
How many are left to calve in this field?
There's a few that have not calved yet. This one walking right in front of us would be one. You can see she's a dry cow. We look with her udder. She's not bagged up. She's still pregnant. They're grazing oats right now. What?
Leaving the pasture. Where are we off to next, Ben?
Well, we're gonna go back up to the farm office and gather up all the supplies to process the cattle that we're gonna receive from the sale barn. Vaccine.
And what's a technical term for what you just put in there, Ben?
Glacier ice pack.
That's incredible.
So I always try to start with a clean box. I clean it out. I'm not gonna say I clean it out every time, but I clean it out often. You know, that's one place that you can transmit pathogens to the cattle. I'm putting ice packs in because my vaccine needs to stay cold. Try to keep my ice packs clean too.
And what is the technical term for this four-legged animal?
Canine.
And what's he got in him exactly?
He is a blue heeler and he's got a touch of Catabula cur. He does pretty well. I mean, he doesn't do any kind of fancy stuff.
Except for when it comes to chewing up seatbelts.
Yeah, he does that pretty well.
Guess that answers our question about what ranchers eat.
Yeah. Dry pancakes.
Dry pancakes.
And coffee.
So I guess we should talk about it. What kind of operations do y'all run? Because you do a couple of different
we've got
things.
A cow-calf herd, and then we background cattle out of local sale barns, local livestock markets. We own them for their
Entirely.
up until slaughter. Yeah.
Right.
But we only physically have them for like 45 to 60 days usually. In that period, we're really not trying to grow them much. I mean, if they get a good weight gain on them, that's great. But our primary objective is to straighten their health out.
Right.
So that first 45 days, getting that 2 vaccinations in them, a modified live vaccine, that's like critical to their health, and that's the period of time where they're most susceptible to health problems. If you make it through that 45 days and they're a healthy, strong calf, they're set up really well. So from there, we either go to, like these cattle that are leaving today, they'll be going to native grass in eastern Kansas, Allen, Kansas. That native grass out there, they graze big and little blue stems. It's what they call tall grass prairie. They get a really good gain on it. They burn it for extra protein. This is a short grazing season, but it's really powerful grass. It's a warm season grass, so they'll turn out in May, and they'll take the cattle off in July. And you can pretty much expect like 2 to 2.5 pound per head per day gain. So we'll still own them. We'll just pay a custom grazing fee. The guys that own that run them on grass out there, they also own the feed yard in southwest Kansas that we said that these same cattle are going to go to when they're done grazing in July. So hopefully they gain well and gain cheap for us out there. It's a grass gain, so they're going to gain cheap. Whatever they gain is going to be fairly cheap, probably. Everything my dad and I own, and the cows and calves, are sent to Kansas to feed yards.
But now a lot of the cow and calf is owned by the ranch, which y'all run.
We run it. It's actually owned by a trust out of Philadelphia. So we manage the cow herd and land for them.
But all the stockers y'all do on your own.
Yeah, we own all the stockers. Yeah. We mostly own all the groups through slaughter, so that's called retained ownership. And then once in a while we'll sell a group, especially if we need some cash to buy new cattle, more cattle. We'll sometimes take the cash now and sell a group or two, generate some cash and buy more cattle with it. Depends on a lot of factors what the market's doing. We've always had a cow herd, but it used to be a lot smaller, and the majority of the grazing areas were grazed by stocker cattle. At the time, we were taking a lot of those cattle to finish, so we'd get them in after the grazing season, sort, sell some loads, send some loads out to Kansas, and then some loads would get finished right here. It's hard to compete with the guys out in Kansas and that area of the country price-wise on a ration, especially on finished cattle. That's why we stopped fattening cattle here. Our ration was more expensive than what they can get make a ration for out in Kansas, and that's because of the corn basis.
So which do you like doing better, stockers or cow-calf?
I like stockers better. I like getting groups in and out fast. So I really like backgrounding cattle. I like the challenge of getting their health straightened out. A lot of these cattle are what's considered high-risk cattle. A lot of them have been mismanaged. So every group comes with a set of health problems that you have to work your way through. They're a bit risky, so you really have to pay attention to their health, and you have to have a good animal health program. So we work closely with the vet on protocol. Once their health straightened out, I'm ready for another group. So I like keeping cattle moving that way. It's good for cash flow.
I think he agreed to do this day in the life video just so I could get gates first.
Well, it is a perk.
That is a perk. So how many cattle have you got in this building, Ben?
105 right now. These are the cattle we're shipping.
This one looks a little weird.
Yeah. This is a pregnant quarter horse that we bought at an auction in Kansas. She's not a riding horse, she's a brood mare, so. Alright, she ate it also. I'm gonna kick her out the pasture.
all done.
Heading to Kansas.
Yep.
Here! Fail. We're gonna just let them calm down a little bit before they tear everything up. That's what, like that steel gate in there?
Yeah.
You see the top of it's bent?
They did that.
That's from one of them. So we got 11 head that were bought out of the livestock market last night.
Okay, so what is this you're giving them here?
Enforce.
Enforce.
This is a nasal vaccine for IBR.
Stick that in the nose, obviously.
Yep, it's a Sidectin injectable. This is my parasiticide, or warmer. Shield Gold 5. That's a modified live vaccine. Covers pretty much all your respiratory with your modified live vaccines. You take your solution, your diluent here. You draw that out into your syringe. And then that's actually your virus right there. So you put your diluent in there, and that's under a vacuum, so it's just gonna, the dilutant's gonna go in automatically without really having to push it down much. Put it in there, shake well. You don't have to shake it too hard, but just kind of make sure it's completely mixed up. You don't want to see chunks of that freeze-dried virus in there, like so. Now I put it back in my automatic syringe. Make sure it's set on 2 mils. That's the rate on these vaccines, are 2 mils. Alright, so those are your modified live. There's live virus vaccines. Now I'm going to go to my pink eye vaccine. It's an autogenous vaccine, which means a localized vaccine. So it's made from pink eye pathogens from bacteria that cause pink eye in this local area. They swab eyes of cattle that come out of the local sale barns to make this our vet. We get this from our vet. Most of your autogenous vaccines will come from your vet. This is a killed vaccine. It's should be a bacterium, so it's for bacteria. So it's bacteria vaccines are either bacterians or toxoids. I'm pretty sure this, yeah, bacterium, autogenous bacterium. I make sure that it's shook up because there are some different things that can get suspended in here. Solution, but you don't have to really mix anything for a killed vaccine. That's the biggest difference between killed and modified live. Modified live you mix, killed vaccine no mixing needed. It's a killed virus, not a live virus. 2 mils on that. Last, this is a toxoid, so that's the other type of bacteria. It's a new flora made by Elanco for Mannheimia, which is bacteria that affects the lungs after a viral infection to the lungs, pneumonia, things.
So this is
Zactran.
Zactran.
It's an antibiotic. So I do something called metaphylaxis, which is commonly called mass med. I give everything an antibiotic upon arrival. They're stressed out. They've all been exposed to a lot of pathogens at the sale barn. They're all commingled, so they're from different places. So to get them through that initial stress period, this is 10 days of coverage on an antibiotic. So, you got calves that are called persistently infected. What causes it is the mother gets sick with BVD, bovine viral diarrhea. During a certain stage of pregnancy, she can pass that on to the calf in utero, and the calf's immune system is developing while she gets this disease, and then the calf's immune system recognizes that as not a foreign entity. It recognizes it as part of its body, so it won't ever work to attack the virus. So it just lives with it, constantly sheds these pathogens of BVD, and we call it a PI calf. It's persistently infected. It's always infected. And there's no antibiotic you can give it to get over it. It's just going to be infected, and eventually it's going to die. But sometimes they don't look like sick calves. They look like healthy calves. So it's important to identify that calf before it gets everybody else sick in your group. And we use a snap test from IDEX to do that. You take an ear notch, put it in one of these vials, you put some solution in the vial, and then you pour the solution in the snap, and you snap the test. They've had one round of modified live. So they have their initial processing is all. So they're going to go out to a pasture where everybody out in that pasture's only had their initial processing. They'll have to still come in for revac for another round of, it's not everything we just gave them, but just the modified live, the bone shield basically. So it'll be that, and then we'll give them a 7-way Clostridial, which is a black leg vaccine, killed vaccine. There you go. Now they're going to join up with that group, and we'll bring them back in about 3 weeks for revaccination.
Just grabbed lunch, and we're heading back to the ranch now to pick up some mineral. We're going to go give some mineral to some cows.
That's right.
You gonna be able to lift this mineral on those full stomach combos?
Oh yeah.
So how many acres and head of cattle do y'all run?
Well, we're at about 1,000 mama cows, and ranch property total is about 4,600 acres, but it's like 2,400 in grass.
We've been giving mineral for a bit. What are your thoughts on mineral, Ben? You like it?
Well, it's very important.
It is?
Yeah.
Have you ever tasted any?
Well, sort of. I've had, the wind blow it back in my face.
You've never just kind of wet your finger and taken a little taste?
No. The stuff I've got in this has some fly control in it, so I don't know.
You'll be all right.
I'm sure it wouldn't hurt me too bad, but I'm not in a hurry to.
I'm
sure I've had it in my mouth.
I'm just messing with you. Of course, it probably wouldn't be the worst thing for you, considering you did 4 tours in the Marines overseas.
Yeah.
And
3
then
Afghanistan, 1 to Iraq.
And then you're like, I survived the Marines, thank God. I'm gonna give bullfighting a try.
That's right.
You couldn't just be happy with the fact that you survived that. You had to go and...
I'm easily bored.
I can tell.
I like excitement. So yeah, I fight bulls in the rodeo for cowboy protection, and then I do a little bit of freestyle bullfighting as well. That's the fighting Spanish bulls. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
You know how you were wondering how your fuel tank got messed up?
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why.
Here we have a spring up this valley, okay? It's probably a half mile up the valley or so. We did what we call a spring development. So we took a backhoe and dug out an area and put some like silt screen and stuff like that, and a way to trap water into and funnel it into pipes underground underneath the spring. And gravity takes this water down from the spring to 2 troughs. This is the bottom trough. This shows you how much groundwater we have right now. You can see how high up, like when it rained the other day, there's obviously a lot of water coming down through underground.
Right.
And that you see how high up the only pressure that's on that is from gravity and how much water volume there is. So it's all gravity fed, and then the overflow on this, if you see the pipe under there, you can kind of hear it sucking. On the other side, it's just the overflow, what the cows don't drink out of this, just goes right back down to that creek down there. So there's no waste on it. It all goes right back to the creek.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Aren't they just adorable, Dad?
Yeah, they are adorable.
You've been mentoring me a lot in the cattle business, but how can younger people get into the full-time cattle business, and is it possible, and is it easy?
It's definitely possible. I would say it's just like any other business you get into. You know, all these businesses that you start up on your own are hard to start up. So farming's no different. Cattle are no different. It's hard to start. It takes a lot of money to start between land and cattle. I think there's a lot of opportunities that a lot of young people don't realize in agriculture. I think a lot of those opportunities are more in the plain states, but there's opportunities here too, you know, I mean.
You just gotta find that niche.
That's right, and I think that there's a lot of people in this industry looking for good young employees, and you're not seeing that many young people that want to go into production agriculture. So I don't think it's really hard to find a job right now in production agriculture. I think that if you go out through, if you look at, you know, help, you might have to move out of your area, you know, for some people, but
sometimes even not that. You know,
yeah, sometimes not even. Yeah, that's right. But if that's what you want to, if you want to work with cattle, yeah, there's a lot of jobs available to people who want to work with cattle.
And same thing with, you know, the agriculture industry. I mean, it's not just specific to cattle.
Yeah, no, that's agriculture in general. The best advice to give is to go out. Education's good. Real world experience in this kind of line of work is right there on par with education as far as importance, I would say. So go out and get a good real world experience learning from somebody that's in the industry and doing a good job in the industry. So if you're starting from ground zero, then the best thing to do is to kind of work for somebody, but also start building your herd on your own on the side.
All right, well, more mineral, I guess.
Yeah.
What will you be doing after I leave?
I'll feed that pregnant mare again. And put her in for the night. I'll probably go back and check some emails. I do a lot of my paperwork at night, so I'll do some paperwork and eat dinner and go to bed.
All right, guys, we finished setting out the mineral, and Ben and I are pretty much done for the day. Well, I'm done again, but Ben's got a little bit more to do, but just a little. Thanks for letting me stalk you today.
Yeah,
it was very fun.
Yeah, it was.
You got a free gate getter for the day.
Yeah, that was nice.
What should they do?
Should go check out Everett's YouTube channel. Yeah. Subscribe to it.
There you go. He said it.
You got a company sponsor him. He's got good content. Yeah. Don't put your name out there.
I gotta have you in more videos. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this new episode to the series. Bye for now.